This week, we cover AntiStatic Studios, Class R, Plagiarism, and we'll have Billith on to chat and play some games. Since our last episode, Margaret Bangert, a widow in Clark County, Wisconsin, quietly rewound a VHS-recorded episode of Matlock Season 7 and returned it reverently to the place she keeps her archived memories of days gone by. Those were better times for Margaret, and on cold, dark winter days like these, it refreshes her spirit to pull out those tapes and revisit the summer sun of her life, when Henry was well and the messes the children left behind gave her purpose. Little did Margaret know, as she slid that oversized cassette into its particular place, smooth and dust-free, rejoining its friends to enshrine the unsavored joys of youth, that this was the last time in human history a VHS tape would ever be rewound. What have you done for history lately?
Got pretty fucking dark.
Chase your tail light. I'll be under your skin, letting you go for a while, then I'm taking you in. It's like diamonds, glimmer and punch. Shiny predator with a golden gun.
I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Noli, the K is silent.
Cassie's on vacation.
Yeah, so this is SCP Weekly without Cassie.
What have we been up to for the last 2 weeks?
Let me think. Mainly, nothing much really, just like, working really. I know you moved recently.
Yeah, still in the process.
Yeah, had to get a fucking exorcist over to your house.
We had to call in a priest. Spooky boy.
Yeah, you want to tell our listeners about that little tidbit?
Well, in the room right behind me, actually, is where it was dwelling. I don't want to say living. Yeah, I don't want to go too much into it, but it was a very intense situation. I'm not like never really been really into it, but I am definitely a believer, and there was definitely something here, and it could definitely manipulate the physical. From the day we moved in for the first week, lights flickering, kind of escalated to boxes getting knocked over, and then it all kind of came to a head when the shower curtain fell while my wife was taking a shower, and I ran up because I heard the bang and everything to see if everything was okay. And as soon as I walked in the room, the lights were flickering, and then both of us, because up until that point, it had just kind of been, I had seen it, she had seen it, but separately. And then both of us were like, we need to acknowledge this. So less than 48 hours after that, it was all clear. Like we did the things that needed to be done, and it's gone. So yeah,
that's always fun. That's gotta be a fun experience when moving into a new house.
Yeah, it was not fun.
Dealing with fucking hidden demons or shit like that.
Yeah, it was intense. I'll say that much. It was very intense.
Yeah, I'm like, while we both clearly enjoy like topics of like the paranormal when it comes to like storytelling and stuff like that, we never really discussed like our own like personal beliefs in like the supernatural and all that. And it's, for me, it's funny because growing up, I was even like raised, well, I was born Catholic, then I got raised evangelical, which in all honesty is just kind of a fucking death cult in my experience.
Yeah.
But then I went through like a hardcore atheist phase when I entered college. Like not just the one, but just like, oh, you know, I don't really hold to this religious system anymore. No, just like the douchey kind of atheist that anyone who's listening probably knows at least one person that is an example of what I'm talking about. But then I've really calmed down, and now I'm like more agnostic these days. I'm open to it, but it's like I'm still leaning a bit more towards on the skeptical side of like if it actually exists. But I'm still one of those people that like if a book just falls off the shelf, I'm immediately praying to all the gods of all the religions that I can think of just to cover all my bases. Because, like, no, I might be a skeptic, but I'm not fucking stupid to deal with dumb shit like that.
Yeah, especially not the wrong way, like not to get on the bad side of it or anything.
Yeah, I'm definitely smart enough, I would say, to not be the curious Caucasian in every horror movie ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I was raised evangelical, very evangelical, and then kind of got to the point where it's like, you know what, there's so much going on in the universe, there's so much going on in our world and our lives that I can't afford to subscribe to one single thing. Like there's so much that's true in so many different things, and it's like you can't ignore the truth. And that's to me, like sticking to one is like I have to ignore the truth in the other, and I can't do that. Like I'm drawn to truth. So
yeah, the universe is a fucking crazy place. Like I follow this physics topic channel on TikTok that does like a bunch of different like explainers of different topics, one being like the Great Attractor, which is like the knowledge of that it's revealed that our galaxy, the Milky Way, is actually moving through space at over 600 kilometers per second. And it's the idea of like, well, where is it moving to? And then scientists discovering that there is essentially this sort of like central gravitational pull at the basically dead center of the supercluster that our galaxy is a part of, which consists of like 100,000 other galaxies that are all being directly pulled towards. And the thing is, we can't even really see it with our technology. Like there's so much interstellar dust out in our region of space, like literally in front of the Milky Way, that we literally cannot see what it is.
Damn. Can't even see the biggest thing ever through the dust.
Yeah, but yeah, my last 2 weeks was irrelevant, I guess I'll say.
Yeah, we're still living out of boxes and work's picking up again, so I'm trying to unpack and stick all of our shelves in the walls and hang all of our pictures and do all of the stuff, and still cleaning out the old house. We got probably one solid truckload left to get out of there to bring over, and then probably 5 or 6 dump runs of just all the stuff that we decided we're gonna shed off after all these years. So
yeah, you guys like didn't move very far, right?
No, it was like 6 miles. It wasn't far at all.
Oh, yeah, because I know you guys say
north end of town.
Yeah, because I know you were saying you were like in Jersey, and I'm like, who willingly moves to Jersey? I just felt sorry. I just felt sorry for you in that moment. Like I can't really say anything because I live in Utah, so fuck me. But just thought I'd get that little Jersey.
We're not in Jersey. We're not in Jersey. We're in Jersey's little hick sister, Delaware.
Oh, that's even worse. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's like Jersey with more Amish people.
Well,
but
hey,
it's a crazy place to live, man. I'll say this about Delaware, like, and that's what I tell everybody, like, why are you living in Delaware? Because it's interesting. It's really a crazy, because there's only 3 counties in Delaware, and like the North County is is like all of the yuppies that come down from like Philly and New York that work in Delaware, you know, because Wilmington, Delaware is financial capital of the United States. It's where all the credit bureaus are, Chase Bank's there, like all it's taxes. They're here for the tax benefits. Anyway, the southern county is like legit hippies, like beach hippies, all down there, and then retired doctors and shit. And then here in the middle where we are, it's like because we have a NASCAR track here, right? The Monster Mile is here in Dover, and you can literally leave the NASCAR track and 10 minutes later be stuck behind an Amish bucky going down the road. It's such an interesting place.
Yeah, I can't say the same about Utah, really.
You guys have great state parks and national.
Well, we got like Zion National Park, which is fucking beautiful. To anybody who's listening and who's actually been there, it is fucking phenomenal to look at and go through.
What's the other one that's not so popular? It's like Canyons something.
We're just spending this entire episode talking about state parks.
Canyonlands, that's the one I was thinking of. Canyonlands.
Yeah. No, like, I don't know how it is in Delaware, but Utah, fucking shit show, depending on, I mean, it's basically all over, you know, politically speaking, because, like, they recently passed, like, a, like, controversial trans bathroom bill that's, like, you know, you have to go to the bathroom that you were assigned at birth, which is both disgusting, but also has the potential for some fucking hilarity to ensue. Because, a reminder, and there's probably, I have no idea if there's any Republicans actually listening to this, but if you are, hey, fuck you, man. But no, these people just like think trans people are just like the fucking caricature of a dude, like, you know, longish hippie hair, full beard, immense body hair, just wearing a dress, trying to sneak into the women's restroom, when reality is mainly they look like me, kind of. I don't want to say they all do, because that is an insult to trans people, to look like me.
Editor.
But no, like, they have no conception that, like, trans people can just look like, are just regular people, that they just look like regular people. Yeah. So they'll have a trans man who, you know, perfectly passes as, you know, just a ordinary cis man, going into the women's restroom, and they're having to try to explain that it's like, no, I have to, the law states that. And I don't know, in my head it'll be hilarious. In real life, probably not so. All in all, fuck Utah.
Yeah, Delaware is definitely a blue state. I mean, Biden is from here. He's got a beach house down in Rehoboth Beach, and he flies in all the time and clogs up the one highway that runs through the middle of the state, and so nobody can go anywhere. But yeah, definitely. And on the trans issues, it's a blue state, but it has its share of rednecks, you know, but they also know that they live in a blue state. So it's like, I don't like it. It grosses me out. And that's kind of the end of it. Yeah. Like, cool. Like, I can actually respect that. Like, you don't like it.
Hey, at least you're being honest.
It grosses you out. Yeah, you're being honest. But you're not really driving around with a bumper sticker or putting signs in your yard or not sending your kids to the same school with the trans kids. So we can get along.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, you could be a piece of shit, but as long as you're not too much of a piece of shit, I guess I can, you know,
as long as you're not a piece of shit about it, then
yeah, as long as you're not too much of a douchebag about things, then I guess I can, let you wander free without me actively trying to beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, that's how it is. Everybody's pretty tolerant of others around here. Like, everybody's got their own opinions, but when it comes to others, they're actually pretty tolerant here. So we like it. It's interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, enough about Utah and Delaware, because nobody gives a shit about that. Let's get on to the news.
Of all of the states that nobody gives a shit about, I think those two are probably at the top of the list.
Well, besides, like, probably Mississippi.
Oh, fuck. Oh, God. I was born there. Nobody should give a shit about Mississippi.
That's
Actually,
right.
Somebody should give a shit about Mississippi, because nobody has given a shit about Mississippi for a long time.
Yeah, for the good reason somebody should give a shit about Mississippi.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
anyway, let's get on to on-site news. It's the beginning of a new month, and with that comes a new edition of On-Site News. Here's some of the highlights. 8KCon posting opens February 12th and closes February 19th, with voting running until March 11th. This month's writing prompts are Babylon, submitted by user Lost in the Woods, and Abnormality Normal, in contrast to the 8Con prompt Fantasy, submitted by user Psychic Programmer. Top articles for the month of January were SCP-7186, Rockin' Stone by JVG, that's J_V_G, and A Modest Proposal for a Revised Anomaly Classification System by Jorik. February's front page featured articles are SCP-6838, Light in the Woods by Duke Krusty, Priscillic Folklore and Mythology by Dr. Leonard, and Critter Profile, Francis by Rat King 666. Love that name. The February issue of On-Site News can be found on the front page of the wiki. The link will be posted in the show notes.
Hell yeah. Real quick, that, what was it called? Rockin' Stone by JVG.
Yeah.
That's not only a very good article, that's JVG's first article. I highly recommend people go and read it. Yeah, it's not very long, but no spoilers. It's about an obsidian cluster, I think, in Australia that's moving. It shouldn't be where it is, and it's a character piece. Very well written. I'm looking forward to what more JVG has in store. That was a very well written character story.
Yeah. Let me just type that in real quick so I can read that later. 186. Oh, it's got 110 already.
Yeah, that's good.
Damn. All right. Gotta check that out.
Okay, so let's get into policy. There's currently discussion in the O5 forums concerning the difference in the way authors and artists are treated on the wiki, specifically surrounding the policy that prohibits writers from being paid commissions for co-authorship or ghostwriting. The policy does not extend to artists who may be commissioned to provide artwork for articles on the site. The discussion began with a post from Pentagon on January 30th. Quote, I'm posting this as a discussion for a policy to possibly arise from, based on a discussion that has happened a few times now and has once again come up as the result of a KCon. The big question for discussion is about commissioned work during contests, but also just in general on the wiki and how people are compensated. To start, I want to give an example. The issue, as it was presented to me and has been argued in the past, is like this. I want to write a big mind-blowing article. I want this article to be quite image-heavy. I pay someone to do all the art for me. The end product is extremely dependent upon the art, maybe even more than the writing. I post the article. Who gets attribution? In general, this is a question about attribution and contribution. We currently already have a policy towards paying for co-authors you can't, and it's agreed upon that you cannot pay a ghostwriter or post an article that you yourself did not write. However, art is currently in a weird spot where some would say you can absolutely pay an artist to make something and then also still attribute them on the article. And others would argue that it's just as much an issue as paying someone to co-author your article with you. This is especially an issue when it comes to contests, where an artist might make art for many articles, but may only be given attribution on one per contest rules of 1 page per person. So the question becomes, what do we do about commissioned art and giving attribution credit, meaning in the metadata, since attribution would either way still be necessary in the license box, to artists? Thoughts? Does this sound like different strokes to different folks to you?
I mean, honestly, it feels like it's kind of up to the artist. If they, if it's like, oh, we're close friends, this is something that I really like that you're doing, and I want to, do it for you pro bono. That's valid. And then there's like, wanting to commission an artist because, hey, everyone's got to eat, and that's, and that's perfectly fine too, as long as, in bold cases that the artist is attributed in the article, like in the comment section when, thanks are given, like, give credit where credit is due. I honestly do believe it's just different strokes for different folks,
Yeah.
My honest opinion is, my honest opinion
as far as the rules go, my honest opinion is always at least offer commission to the person, and if the artist says, hey, it's fine, I'm willing to, help you out with this as like, a solid, that's totally fine. But yeah, I think it more so depends on the person. Yeah, to me, it's there. So 2 issues. To me, first, it's, I think, bringing up a really good conversation of what is the artistic contribution, what is the value of the artistic contribution, and how do we see it between artists and authors. And you have to start from a place of, what is the SCP Wiki? It is a writing site. The SCP Wiki is a writing site. But with that said, my personal opinion, if I was king of the world, if you can't pay authors, you can't pay artists. I don't think it should work for either, because I think there's been enough parallels drawn between artistic contribution and enough arguments made that artists deserve to get paid. Well, authors deserve to get paid too. So if I can pay an artist to create art that I can use in my article, I should be able to pay an author to contribute, and vice versa. It should be either I can pay them both, or I should not be able to pay either. That's the first thing.
Or nothing.
Yeah. The second thing, it's kind of weird because of the CC by SA, the Creative Commons angle. So there was one argument that was made in the thread, and I think it was by Rounder House, that, when I commission an artist, I own the art. That's not entirely true. When you commission an artist, or even purchase art, or hire somebody to do graphic design, whatever words you want to use, unless it's specifically stated in the contract, in the commission, you don't own that art. You are purchasing the license to use that art for whatever purpose the artist releases that license to be used for. And so it's sort of like if I was to go out and buy a Rembrandt, right? That was Rembrandt's art. If I buy it and I put it up on my wall, that's not a Kelsey, it's a Rembrandt. Just because I own the physical copy of it doesn't mean that I own the art. That's Rembrandt's art. I have license to display it in my home.
Yeah.
The graphic designer that I use, right? I don't own the art that she creates. Even though I pay for it, I'm paying for a license to use it. Now that license is indefinite. I can use it forever for whatever that I need to use it for, but that was stipulated in the contract. When I said, hey, this is what I need, this is what I'm going to use it for, here's the money. Yes, you can use it for that. Here's the art. So that's the other thing that has to be considered. And it's weird because CC by SA, I can pay somebody for a license to use SCP-based art, but SCP-based art in its nature is CC by SA. So I cannot own that. It's Creative Commons.
Yeah. On January 23rd, Kufat, I apologize if I mispronounced your name, member of the Wiki staff, primary administrator of Skip IRC, and member of the tech team, proposed an adjustment to the plagiarism policy that partially shifts the responsibility for addressing plagiarism issues on the Wiki to the licensing team. This proposal comes in the wake of disciplinary action taken against user Metaphysician and an ongoing investigation involving another yet unnamed Wiki site admin. According to Kufat, again, sorry if I butchered your name, quote, "The disciplinary team has been obligated by the site charter to investigate a member of staff for failure to attribute portions of an external work with a compatible license. There has been a general consensus among staff that these matters should have been handled in a way that did not involve the disciplinary process. The proposed changes to the disciplinary team's procedures centers on a difference between omission and commission, and how those infractions are addressed with punitive and corrective action, with punitive action remaining the purview of the disciplinary team, and corrective action, for example, quote, deletion of the page, editing to add a citation, removing a paragraph of offending content while keeping the remainder of the page, etc., becoming the responsibility of the licensing team. The link to the policy proposal will be in the show notes."
Do you know what happened with Metaphysician?
I have no idea.
So I don't remember what the text was, but it was something old. Like, let's say, for example, he quoted something from like the 1600s that was well within the public domain. And by the letter of the law, by the black and white of the rules as they were written, he got, I think it was a week-long ban because of that. And then it all came down to it in reality. Number one, I think they didn't need to cite it because it was public domain. But number two, they were sick at the time and just, it was something that they missed. But that's one of the, and then there's kind of a similar situation going on with another member of site admin, in a piece of cited text or text that should have been cited but wasn't, and so that's drawing the attention. Yeah,
I think that's kind of a pretty harsh response, especially with, you know, someone like Metaphysician. And this isn't me like playing favorites. It's based on, it's like, as someone who does know him and, you know, knows a bit of like the process that he goes through when writing, like, it is really just likely that, you know, he was just sick that day or it just slipped by him. Like, he would never, you know, pull some shit like that. And on the chance that it was like, you know, it's like a really old quote, like you said, like something that would easily be in the public domain, like, it just seems way too harsh of a punishment to just kind of give him for what seems at best like a minor infraction.
Yeah. And that's the discussion, and that's why they're splitting it up, and it's not going to be the 100% the purview of the disciplinary team, because it's not always a disciplinary issue. Most of the conversation centered around, hey, a lot of these guys, if you just tell them, hey, you need to cite that, then they immediately go in there and cite that. Like, oh, my bad, I missed it. It's not a plagiarism. It's omission, not commission. Like, I'm not intentionally trying to copy somebody's work and take advantage of it. So,
yeah.
Oh, staff promotions. It's that time again when Wiki team captains consider their little baby junior staff members for promotion to full-fledged staff, bestowed with all the rights and benefits thereof. This season's crop of junior staff members consists of the following: Celeste Etoile, licensing; Synth Panda, also licensing; Asperian for Mast; SD Lock for curations; and Ariadne's Thread, the current Discord admin, for wiki site admin. The proposals are up for discussion and moved to a staff vote on February 11th.
What's going on with new skips and tails these last 2 weeks?
In the last 2 weeks, since the AKCon announcement, there have been 12 new SCP articles, a whole 12, like less than one a day. What are all the authors doing right now, I wonder? None of those in the last 2 weeks have been rated over 50. Excuse me. And there have been 11 new tales.
Why don't we take a break before we go off-site?
Dr. Gray, what are you doing here?
Intern, I thought no one came to this closet. So this is where I go to read my real crazy fan fiction. And what's that you're reading?
It's, well, you're not dangerous, so I guess I can tell you. This is Confinement. It's a comic series. It's about a guy named Connor who responds when he dies.
Really? That just sounds like a whole lot of bung to me.
It's absolutely not. It's actually really good, but I've been keeping it a secret for now. I don't want Dr. Bucket to get any ideas on dangerous tests he can make me do. Connor can afford to die, but not me.
Wow, that sounds excitingly veil-breaking. Do you know where I can get one?
Thanks for asking, Monica. All you need to do is look up SCP Confinement Kickstarter, and the pre-order page should be the first result. And even if you can't get in on the pre-orders, the comic will be for sale on the unredacted Etsy store after the Kickstarter ends.
Awesome! I'm already so excited to get mine. Oh, maybe I can show them to Grim.
And thanks to our sponsor, Dado's Space Drive 2. Dado is a make charitable contribution to fine world of Dado brand hospice care. You no need to see doctor when Dado is provide you with the space drive like the Elon. Did you know that sirs cannot survive in space? Very good fact, Dado just told you, yes. A new SCP short film has been released this past week by Renegade Films on YouTube. SCP Class R acts as the pilot of a new series set within the SCP universe, following subject R001 and his handlers as he's utilized as an experimental alternative to the Foundation's infamous D-Class program. The film currently sits at just under 1,000 views. This crew is very passionate about this project, so show your support by watching the video. The link is in the show notes.
Yeah. I should add, this is also kind of a sequel to a previous SCP short film they made called The Offer, which is more of like an introduction to the actual Class R subject of and it's been a while since I watched it. I believe they was like the agents who would become his handlers meeting him on death row and essentially baiting him with saying like, hey, you want to see your son again, right? You want to be alive, hopefully be active in his life one day. Well, then we got this nifty little program that you could be part of that if you're good, you can get out not only of death row, but you'll be set free entirely. But yeah, the pilot itself is, pretty good. It's like a full pilot of like just over, I think, 20 minutes long. I don't think it's based on any specific SCP article, to my knowledge. Essentially, they just have his first assignment of him going through a doorway that opens up into like this misty forest area, and essentially use the tech that he's provided in order to let them, catalog what's inside this anomalous area, all while trying to survive against some unknown shape-shifting anomaly that's inside there with him as well.
Good for them. I'm going to watch it.
AntiStatic Studios is creating a new SCP-inspired game under the working title Project Hornet. A PvE cooperative tactical shooter, players will portray as field operatives working for a mysterious organization known as Mortfield Industries, who seek out and contain anomalous activity in a post-nuclear Europe. AntiStatic Studios is a new game developer that is led by veterans of the industry who worked on titles like BioShock, Borderlands, and Cyberpunk 2077. I personally spoke with their community manager on their Discord trying to learn more about them and the project. Their team is passionate about urban legends, liminal spaces, and military horror, and for years they've been wanting to create titles that are immersed in these genres, but were said to have been held back by more corporate hierarchies in their previous jobs in the industry. However, they're hoping that with the creation of AntiStatic Studios, they can circumvent this and finally create dark, atmospheric co-ops that they've been wanting to create. They take great inspiration from other game developers like Remedy, the creators of popular titles like Control or Alan Wake 2, but also take great inspiration from the SCP community. In fact, currently they're collaborating with a number of different authors and creators like Dr. Sumerian and SCP Illustrated in order to help further expand the lore of their world, which they do through their associated website, Anomaleaks. And more so than that, they've even hired wiki author Grigory Karpin as a contracted writer for their studio.
Very cool.
Yeah. Project Hornet is still in the early stages of development, but you can follow the game along as it develops through their Discord, which we will link along with the Anomaleaks website in the episode description.
Huh.
Yeah, I actually first came across this, I forget how. I think it was shared around on Twitter by someone I follow. It might have been Grigory. I can't remember, but
I can't see Grigory getting hired onto something like this and not blasting it on Twitter.
Oh yeah, no. He like the past week went just went off on talking about how he's been contracted to write for them. And I found it, like I said, through Twitter. I think it was a repost by Grigory. I could be wrong. But it was a link to a video on their YouTube channel, AntiStatic Studios, of essentially like a found body cam footage of a couple of operatives going through essentially this unique little liminal space that looks like in some abandoned, rundown theme park. It's only about a minute or two long, but it really does a good job of setting the atmosphere of what kind of world this is being set in. Because again, as I said, this is set mainly on the European continent post a nuclear apocalypse that sort of went off on the continent. So essentially, Europe, for as far as I'm aware of, is not really habitable for the most part. So essentially, this organization, Moorfield Industries, they're essentially sending their own operatives in that they hire on and find these anomalies that seem to have sprouted up, developed, or basically have just come out of the woodwork in the response to what happened in Europe. And they have an associated website called Anomaleaks that I've mentioned, which essentially think a bit like Parawatch, where it's more like ordinary people and conspiracy theorists, but they're people that actually know shit. Like, they actually kind of know what they're talking about, getting hold of, formal documents that were not meant to really go public and trying to share with them. There's one for an anomaly that I believe Dr. Sumerian wrote, that is posted on the site, that is sort of like a description, what its tactics are, and an illustration along with it as well. And there's another one that's actually more akin a bit to a tale than an article of essentially of from the perspective of a Soviet soldier who undergoes an experimental program to essentially become a ghost AI for a dead man nuclear switch. And saying like he becomes the early warning system for, if missiles are going off, and saying that there was, some kind of warning that there were missiles being launched from Turkey towards Soviet Russia, and his superiors were telling him, launch a counterattack. But the soldiers not really sure what to do. And it's kind of, dark and depressing because he's very loyal to his country. But at the same time, he doesn't really want to be responsible for countless deaths by his hand. And so he's stuck in this sort of technological limbo, essentially, that eventually just gets abandoned over time. And it's not really sure if he has actually any idea that, as far as I'm aware of so far in the lore, that, the Soviet Union had dissolved and he's just alone, waiting on orders.
Tale as old as time.
Yeah.
What other story do I remember that from? I know I've seen it, like the man alone in outer space. Like, there was a Japanese guy. There was a real life story from World War II. There was this Japanese guy that lived in the jungle. Like he escaped the battle. He was like the lone survivor of this battle with the U.S. Marines out in the South Pacific, and he lived in the jungle for like 50 years thinking the war was still on, and he was waiting for the Japanese to come and pick him up, and they had to like reintegrate him into society. It was like the 60s or 70s. It was I want to say it was even the 80s when they found him, and they brought him back to society.
Yeah, I remember that because there was like, it was sort of like adapted onto an episode of Archer, if you can believe that.
I believe that.
Yeah. But yeah, this project, so far as I've seen, it's very ambitious, very promising from everything that they've said so far. It's great that members of the community, authors and artists are actually getting to be, hired on and actually getting, paid to do what they basically love doing, is essentially writing and creating art for a community that they love, and not specifically the SCP community in this case, but something inspired a little bit by it, at least.
SCP adjacent.
Yeah, SCP adjacent. And yeah, they had their Discord is like open and free for anyone to join, check out. I think they gained like over 300 people onto the server like in just one day after they announced everything. So
hell yeah. Yeah, I went back and looked at Grigori's Twitter. He made like one post about it. It's very un-Grigori of him.
Yeah, it's very humble of him. And now, let's introduce our guest this week. He's the top 3% SCP author, multimedia creator, and a musician under the name Slow Gramming. Please welcome Billith to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's nice to be here.
Welcome. Thanks.
How you doing?
Yeah, Billith, I just realized this is the first time we've seen each other face to face.
Correct, yeah.
At least.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
What do you mean digitally, at least? That's a weird qualifier. Have we passed each other in real life?
Creeping through your windows.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I mean, let's be honest, we live states away, so unless, you've taken a trip down to Utah recently, probably not.
No, sorry, I try to avoid Utah.
Yeah, that's smart.
Utah, Wisconsin, Montana, Ohio. I have a list. I generally don't go to those states.
Just a general list of red states to avoid.
No, it has nothing to do with that. It's just the fact that they are boring. That's all.
We just had that conversation earlier.
Yeah, we just had a discussion earlier of just like of our respective home states that we live in. Like
Right.
Kelsey talking about Delaware and trying to say like, hey, it's actually interesting. Actually, like Delaware's not boring at all.
Delaware's a weird little place.
I don't know about that. Delaware's. I'm not even sure Delaware's real. It's like Rhode Island. Like,
Yeah, it's like Ohio when it's
Well,
that you're not really sure if it exists.
What's more
but,
interesting
it's in
than
everyone's
living in an
collective memory.
imaginary place?
I mean, yeah, no, it's. I mean, if you look at it a certain way, all places are imaginary. I mean, we
Yeah, all
live in-
places are
you
made
know,
up.
Yeah, all locations are they're defined after the actual creation of the landscape. So
Yeah.
we all live in the same place. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's humans trying to, put order in a chaotic universe and ultimately failing because entropy gets us all in the end.
We're all just hairless apes struggling to survive against nature.
Yeah,
Goddamn
True.
right.
true. Yeah.
Billith, you want to tell us about yourself a little bit?
Sure. I am. Yep. As you said, my name is Billith. I'm a top 2% SCP author. I've been writing for the site for almost 7 years now. I've also been kind of like reading and lurking on the site for even longer. I remember seeing like the original posts on X back in the day, like the original creepypasta that became SCP. That was a long time ago. Remember like the original Flash games, like the Stairwell.
Oh.
Yeah, back in the day. I don't know. Maybe you guys don't know about that. I don't know. Old
I don't know,
original
you know,
containment
yeah.
breach stuff.
You're aging yourself.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. So other than that, make music. I've made a couple of SCP themed albums. I've also been making music for better part of 15 years ish. And I do a lot of other random stuff. I do like design things. I make videos and whatnot. I'm at Billith on YouTube, etc., Twitch. But yeah, I don't know. I mostly just exist on my computer and pet my cats. That's it.
Yeah.
So-
living a dream.
When you say top 3% SCP author, how is that qualified? Is that by total number of upvotes? Is it by number of articles
so I
that
mean-
you've written? How is that?
Yeah, so
I'm
like
sure
OnlyFans
everyone you
and
ask has their own like metric for that. I'm 92 currently, I believe, on Crom. Via Crom, I'm 92 out of
Okay.
about 2,900 and change. Crom qualifies it by total upvotes. I just hit 6,000 total
Nice.
upvotes.
Nice.
It's I would like to hit the Harry Blank or Sumerian like 100 plus articles on the site. That seems to be how they qualify their success. But I'm like, I can't even. I just passed 50. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I mean, it sounds like you're spread out over so many different creative endeavors. Like if you focus solely, like if you put your focus on getting to that 100 articles or whatever, like everything else would just be eating at you and screaming at you. Like make music and
yeah,
make art. And
That's true. Yeah, I like I kind of go through my creative process like I'll work on something until I no longer feel like working on it, and then by that point I'll want to work on something else. So it's just like, I will cycle through a couple things, and by the time I'm done the third thing, I'll probably want to do the first thing again. And then that's kind of like how I like piecemeal, because like I have ADHD. And my ADHD is called by head injury, so it's like it's not as easily treatable as other people's ADHD. So I'm like, I do my best with the tools I've been given.
Yeah, I was definitely going to say that sounds like the ADD method to me.
Yeah,
You got to do what works for you, man.
Yeah, and all the while I have like 3 pieces of media going at once. Like I'll be listening to music and watching a video on YouTube and listening to, like some being in a conversation with somebody on Discord at the same time, because that's definitely the right way to do things, and it doesn't split your attention, equally between those things.
Oh, absolutely.
Trust
me.
But I mean,
Yeah,
it seems like it served you well.
Yeah, no, absolutely does split your attention, and it's not at all the right way to do things. But I also get distracted. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Sounds a lot like me when I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3 and I just have a podcast or a YouTube video going on in the background listening.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a tried and true method for ADHD, but also it can be useful for people who don't have it as well. Like,
Yeah.
especially Baldur's Gate, which is like a legacy type game where you're like, you're playing it for a long time and there's a lot of downtime and this and that, It's a good game.
Yeah. So, Billith, you've said that you've been, writing for the wiki the past 7 years. In all that time, do you have any, articles or tales or what have you that you've written that particularly stands out to you as probably one of your favorites that you've written over the years?
Okay. I think first that comes to mind would be one of my tales. It's called Your Future is Bright, and it's the other one. It's luminance. Bright meaning luminance, just qualifying that there ahead of time so we all know. For no reason in particular, just saying.
Oh yeah, no reason.
Don't downvote it because of the title. I had to have that talk.
It's not about what you think, I swear.
Yeah, it's not about that. It's about optimism in the face of crushing existential despair, and the lack thereof. Actually, lack of optimism. It is a nihilistic tale, spiritual successor to tales like RE, You Want Happy Endings, and Black, White, Black, White, Black, White, Black, White, Black, White, Black, White, Gray. Both very near and dear to my heart, those tales. And it's sort of like sprung up as this like interview between two characters, an agent who is undergoing a cognitive sort of like it's like an interview / interrogation by a proctor who is testing to see if he's on like a lot of people compare it to the baseline exam in Blade Runner, like a very aggressive back and forth compliance test like that. It's one of those things that I'm very happy about, and like it's my only tale to go over 100, so I have to point it out as notable.
Yeah.
So those are your favorites, and what would you say is your best?
Well, if you go from upvotes alone, which I don't think that shows.
Yeah.
If you go from upvotes alone, it would be 2876, 2786 rather, the archetype, which arguably, it doubles in the score of my next best article, but nearly doubles. It was it's an article in series 3, so I feel like it had more leeway back then, like I feel like it could spruce it up, but Vulcan did a reading of it and I don't want to change it and this and that, but
yeah,
anyway,
I was about to say I know Vulcan did that one, so
yeah, and that one's it's that Vulcan really liked doing that video in his interview on the Vietnamese branch. He was talking about how that was his favorite video that he did, and I was like really touched by that. So I was like, I can't mess with the article at all at that point. And I already added a little content to it, but I was like, I can't change any of the stuff that's already there. But if you, I think probably my best work. I mean, probably deletions, like the whole like hub and everything like that would be my probably my best piece of work. It's got like 80 images on it, and like I had to like really like go in and detail everything and lay it out in a way that I felt was coherent and whatnot. But I also really like 3311, all the little chairs. It's like my third most popular article or something like that. And it's about a storage container in Florida that contains all the chairs that ever existed. And it's just a lot of fun. I think that was probably one of my best and most enjoyable pieces. But I don't know. I love all my children equally, except for narrativistics, which I can't comment on.
Oh, I was about to ask. God damn it! I was about to ask about it.
No, I mean I'll comment on it. It's like it's one of my favorite things, but it's also not. It's not limited to just the SCP Wiki. I can't say that it's an a SCP exclusive piece. It's more of a. It's more like and I tried to explain a little bit when I mentioned it in a previous episode, but it's because I remember us talking about it several times on Discord, like because like you said, it's not like an idea that's like exclusive to SCP, because in scope it's by definition fucking infinite. Yeah, right. So I mean, I got the idea to put pen to paper after watching Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, I kind of see how I could describe this in a way that kind of gets the points I want to get across, because I didn't exactly want it to be as like people describe it as kind of like more existentially terrifying than I was intentional. And like my intention was kind of to make it like absurd and kind of like don't think about it, because we can't really understand it and it doesn't really matter anyway, but also you might be fictional. It's more like there's no reason to change the status quo, because even if it's true, we'll never know, kind of thing. So it's kind of evolved since then, and became a little bit more of a some sort of comment on like, I don't know. People keep telling me that I made it to nerf power scalars, but that was just an unintended side effect.
Because I remember a little bit of like some people asking about saying in relation to like SCP 3812, like who. A lot of people in the SCP community kind of construe as like the most powerful SCP to ever exist, because it's like it can goes through narratives. It's like ascending the narrative layers infinitely,
right? And
you saying how it's like well, he's not actually all powerful. He's never actually going to escape his own narrative and everything. He can kill an avatar of this author, DJ Cactus, but you can never actually kill Cactus himself.
Right, and it's always limited to the story itself. It's not going to go do something outside of what we've read, even if it's implied to like eventually have this goal. We there's nothing to prove that in the actual story. Yeah. But like that's something here and there. I mean, people can look. I have upvoted that article, and I uploaded it a long time ago. 3812. I uploaded it when it came out because I liked it. I liked the article. It was not like I had any particular vendetta against it. I also think it's funny because like if you go and you look, there's other articles that claim to be the most, like there's literally an article called The Most Powerful SCP. It's in the series 7, I think. And it's literally just
Make-A-Wish one.
Yeah, it's the Make-A-Wish one. But yeah, like you can't, get power scalars to talk about that one because it's there. It's true. The author said it's true. So I mean, even if it was written by a character in universe, that character wrote it so that it would be true.
I don't know. Like to me, the concept of narrativistics stands out because, like, hopeful of saying like, hey, we don't know how our story's gonna go, and if anything is possible, if all stories are happening, who knows? Maybe our story can end up like one of the good ones. We'll just have to move forward and wait and see.
Right. Yeah.
And I just find that, very optimistic. rather than
Yeah.
existential.
It was built on the like optimistic nihilism, like the idea that like
Yeah.
sure, nothing if nothing matters, then you're free to create the purpose that you want in life, and you're free to like believe and hope for any sort of outcome because it's possible, you know, it's out there somewhere.
Yeah.
And all, I know there's a lot of things about it that I wish I had maybe conveyed better, or like, you know, like for example, the article itself, the seminar is a tale. It's marked tale because I used the whole framing as a way to show the way that narrativistics kind of proves that you can do whatever you want with a narrative, right? Like I have like the people in the audience disappear, and like, you know, they turn to face away from Harkness when he's giving it and things like that. And, you know, certain things seem off about it, and people are like, well, it can't be you can't be portraying something like a theory and hope to get what you want across when so many weird things are happening that kind of pull away from reality. But I'm like, that's kind of the point. And, you know, so I'm at the same time I'm working on like an annotated version of it, which has like a notes from the author kind of thing that kind of break stuff down a little bit more. And I'm hoping that will like help clear up more questions. I don't know. They're always going to be people that are like, I don't like that. You know, I'm like, okay, it's fine. You know, I'm not telling you can't. You know, it's not a cosmology. It's not a canon. It's not anything that anyone has to change their way of thinking or writing or doing anything to adhere to. It literally is just like a framework that I use to understand why all these, you know, conflicting cosmologies can exist in the same place anyway. You know, I kind of stress that it doesn't matter what, you know, it's like, it doesn't change anything. It's the other thing. So like, why are you getting mad at me?
Yeah. It's a way to view life, essentially.
Yeah.
There is no canon, god damn it.
Yeah, there is no canon. And like the more that you try to understand it, the less it's going to make sense anyway as a whole. That's like, because too much contradicts itself, and you just become more aware of how many things contradict themselves the more you understand. You know, like that's why there's certain things that we haven't been able to bridge yet. I mean, hopefully we will one day be able to bridge our understanding of like general relativity, quantum mechanics, things like that. You know, I wrote a 300-word tale called Holes that kind of explored this concept, where it was just like people are gonna want to understand what happens, so they're gonna try so hard to understand what happens after we die that they're gonna die before they even have a chance to live life, essentially. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Essentially Odin's folly in the God of War Ragnarok. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, essentially Odin's folly in the God of War Ragnarok. This story arc, basically being so obsessed with like what happens after, and so obsessed with like getting the answer that he just absolutely fucking wrecks everything in his own life. That he just becomes a monster. He never actually becomes happy. He just wants something that he's never actually going to get. Yeah. So he killed his own son. Spoilers.
Oh Jesus! There's another tale as old as time.
Mm-hmm. oh, is that in one of the newer ones, or? The newest one. Got it.
Oh,
yeah. I was thinking about Odin being from
when Nolan spoils it. He fucking spoils it.
Yeah, I was.
It's like over a year old now, but it's like
editor.
But yeah, spoilers. Editor, bleep this. Odin kills Thor at the end of the story.
Editor.
Okay. All right. Well, you know.
Cool. Thanks. I don't have to play it now.
Yeah. No, it's fair. It saved us a playthrough. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Saved us $60. Great. It. Thanks.
Yeah, it's like seeing someone watch an anime and telling them everything about the manga. You know.
Well, you know, sometimes they don't line up perfectly. So at least you went and you got you have the right facts, and it's a full spoiler. You know, it's not different. It's not manga, anime. This is Wikipedia and the game.
Yeah.
I got the pictures pulled up. You ready to look at some art?
Ooh, art?
So, are we ready for Don't Blink? Alright, so the point of this game is Kelsey's gonna roll his, Squatchkadoocher. That's what he calls it in the script, so that's what I'm gonna call it here. essentially rolling for an investigation check. Whatever number it lands on, you're basically going to have that, and that's how long you're going to have to view the image. So, say if you get an 18, that's going to be half. That means you only have 9 seconds to look at the image. And after that, you have 10 seconds to describe what you just saw.
Okay. And I'm trying to get, I'm describing the image so that you guys can guess what.
Yeah, essentially describe it in a way to where you can try to figure out what exactly we're showing you before we give you the answers.
Okay.
At the end.
The intent is not to guess what it is. This is a podcast. It's audio format, and so we wanted to figure out a way to integrate art into a podcast. And so we have you guys come on, and you're describing what you see. I mean, like one of these, it's pretty obvious what it is, and so if you just say, "Oh, it's that," then it's really no fun for the people that are listening. So give her a good description.
You got it.
All right. So this is the rolly thing.
Oh wow, it's big.
Yeah, she's a chunker.
Yeah.
But well balanced and soft. I've caught it on my head a couple of times. So this is going to be loud. I apologize ahead of time. I'm using a different microphone today, but just tell me when to stop.
And yeah, you can stop.
You got a 5.
That sucks. It's gonna be a hard one.
2.5 seconds.
Only 2.5 seconds.
All right, so I'm going to share my screen. Let me know when you can see my screen.
I can see your screen. I see a lot of your screen. Yeah. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of black tendrils and a humanoid figure with a shape on its face. And there was a person kind of like crying or something like that.
Okay. We'll roll for the next one.
Stop.
Say when.
Mm-hmm. I didn't.
That's even worse than the
it's
last
even worse. Yeah, I was hoping.
That's the first 4 I've rolled in a while.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and describe.
So it's a humanoid with 4 ears, silver hair, long silver hair, feminine, and fantasy themed. Say.
All right, and roll for the third one.
All right, stop.
11.
Slightly better. Ooh. Interesting.
And describe it.
So it was like a maybe a planet, a red planet, and a bunch of technology going between the planet and a firefly of some sort. I don't know how much time I have, so I'm just gonna stop there.
Okay. It's a fitting description. All right. Now we'll pull them up. Let me show them. We can pull them up and actually have a good look and talk about it. Where'd you go? There you go.
Yeah, I definitely knew what one of those were, as you said.
Yeah,
for sure.
This guy here.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. That is that's 2521.
Yep. The shortest, or at least one. I think it's the shortest SCP on the site. Unless there are some other SCPs that are all images. It's I think it's the shortest at 0 words.
Yeah, no words to that one. I like that. Like all the depictions of the heart on his face.
Yeah.
There, but this one has teeth.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting take on that, and I like it. I want to know what's going on with the victim here. Like, I don't really recall there being like too much of a cognitive effect described in this document. Not that much could be conveyed. I feel like we got some general idea that it takes things that mention it, but what's going on with the guy there? You know, it's like
don't know.
I think he's just kind of terrified that fucking monster is appearing out of nowhere, thinking that's
eating his homework.
Him.
Yeah, could be that, or it could be a cognitive effect from the guy reading the stuff and that being in his brain. And
we don't really know. We just know it's very bad.
MetalBeast knows. MetalBeast is the one who created this. So.
Oh yeah. Well, shout out to them. I haven't heard of that name before. I wonder what other stuff they've written. Better check them out on the site.
And the second one. This is called Karcist Viekudh. And I'm probably saying that completely wrong, but it's Viekudh by Niram.
Ooh. So Karcist. That checks out. Yeah, definitely. Viekudh.
I'm digging the ears.
Yeah, I really like the art style. Very, very, very cool.
Yep.
It's
If you
like-
go to Niram's art page on the wiki, there's a lot of art in this style, like portrait style. It's very cool.
If they have it, they should like apply for Wizards of the Coast or something. Feel like art I would see on like a Magic the Gathering expansion or something.
Yeah. And then the third one, this is called this was written for the art anthology earlier this year. This is T
Right.
is for Transmission.
Very cool artwork.
This is Saltywater.
A lot of really, Saltywater did the whole set, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
A lot of really cool art to come out of the anthology. Very cool.
Yep,
Very
I
cool.
love Saltywater. Saltywater is kind of made for like dark manga, dark comic book style.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like they did art of the J is for Jetsam, and it was like pieces of like cargo and personnel, like in like those old like the plastic snap out sets you get like for like putting it together a Gundam back in like yeah. I don't know if that's still a thing, but yeah, it's just
You cut apart the models with an X-Acto knife, cut the little nubs off of them. Yeah.
It's very cool. I was super grateful. Saltywater is really cool. Check him out on Twitter.
And now we're going to go into Two Truths and a Lie.
All right.
Yeah. Last week, Sherm gave his 2 truths and a lie, which were: my 17-year ballroom dance teaching career wouldn't have happened if I hadn't become an expert Dance Dance Revolution player.
Nice.
I was part of a swing dance flash mob in the middle of an interstate in Florida. So we pull a James Corden there.
Yeah.
Or I won a twerking contest dressed as Kamina from Gurren Lagann, complete with tearaway pants and a skirt with Kamina's sunglasses on the butt.
I feel like it's. Are we speculating on? You guys probably know which one is, right, by now?
I'm the only one that's seen the answer.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna guess, and I'm gonna say that it's probably the second one, just because it doesn't have enough detail for me. And I also think you're right that James Corden did that exact same thing.
Yeah.
If he said in a mouse costume, I would have been like, no, that was James Corden. James Corden did that.
But no. Kelsey, Cassie, and I all thought it was the third option of him winning a twerking contest. Not that we don't believe that he was in a twerking contest, but just that the details were off, because we had some guests that try to fuck with us with that a little bit.
Yeah.
Fantem.
I mean, what's you don't invite someone to play Two Truths and a Lie and not expect them to make the options hard to determine. It's like it's the part of the game.
Yeah.
So we all had so much going on in life that this didn't make it to social media this week, so we didn't have a poll. But the answer, the truth, is number 3. We got it right.
Okay, all right.
We actually got it
was
right.
just-
Time
it was
we all
so-
agreed on one,
Yeah,
and we got it right.
it's so out there that I absolutely expected Sherm to do that. That's the thing. It definitely seemed on par. I mean,
Well, I thought from the beginning, like, none of these things are totally false. Like, there's like 2 of these things are true, and one of them is probably mostly true. And so Sherm's response was, you were all exactly correct. The twerking contest was part of a theater performance, so it wasn't really a contest. The other 2 were fully true, and everything else about the third one is true, except it being a real contest.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know. Yeah.
Wait, so Sherm really did pull James Corden?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, God,
I
Sherm. Buddy.
You know, if that's as close as you get to James Corden, that's still a win in my book. It's not close enough to be a problem. Like I said, there's no.
I know, but like trying to get close to James Corden level. I mean, Sherm, come on, we expected better.
I
from
would
you,
go
man.
on carpool karaoke. What are you talking about? No, I'm just kidding.
But he's also a theater kid, and those guys run in packs, so it was
true.
probably a theater thing.
I liked the Dance Dance Revolution one. I was also quite good at Dance Dance Revolution, but I no longer am. I don't know if he still is, but that's cool. That's really cool. That's a sick flex, is being good at DDR.
And it turning into a career.
Yeah.
Just Sherm being one of those players that just their upper half is like completely still, but
Making
their
eye
legs are just,
contact
like,
with you the
completely moving.
entire time he's doing it.
Yeah, oh yeah. For sure.
He's just staring at you directly while his legs are just completely moving. His torso is completely still. You see him mouth you like that while directly looking at you.
Yeah, it's like a Looney Tunes-esque, like it's just like a cloud of dust from the waist down, because his legs are just yeah.
It's just Sonic
Yeah,
the Hedgehog
basically.
legs at
Basically,
that point.
yeah.
Make the little rinky-dink sound.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
The Fred Flintstone doodly-doo.
All right. But Billith, do you have some lies you want to tell us?
well, there's 2 truths and a lie that I provided. Let me pull those up, but yeah, they are 1. I have scaled Mount St. Helens. 2, I am 2 degrees of separation away from Jim Carrey. And 3, I have spent over 10,000 hours in Minecraft. That's almost a year of just Minecraft. Granted, 10,000 hours. To put that in perspective.
I believe Mount St.
I
Helens.
would totally believe. Yeah. I would believe the 10,000 hours in Minecraft, because you do seem like the kind of person that would put a lot of time into something like that. You know what? I'm gonna go with Jim Carrey.
Me too.
Really?
Yep.
Do you want me to tell you? Because
No, not yet.
No,
Okay,
no,
all right,
no.
all right. It's interesting.
Yeah,
It's
we
interesting.
have to wait until everybody else waits. Like, I just got Sherm's answers right before we started recording.
Okay, you're doing that. Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah. No, those are interesting guesses. Very interesting.
Yeah, I think you're closer. I think you're 1 degree of separation from Jim Carrey. You might even know him.
Maybe. But he's a really, he gets really into method acting sometimes. So do we ever really know actors? Like when I met him, he could have been trying to be Andy Kaufman or whatever. That one role that he did.
Oh yeah, he did kind of go off the deep end with that one, didn't he?
Yeah. It's no Jared Leto, but yeah, no, he apparently for that one particular movie, he went pretty off the rails.
Yeah, I think I watched like a documentary on that.
Right, yeah.
Like nobody could even stand to be around him when he was.
Yeah, I don't really get the whole method acting thing. Like, do you really need to? I mean, I guess, from a narrativistics context, is it really necessary to believe you're in the story in order to portray the character to a satisfactory extent? I don't know. All I know is
people, it might be necessary. I think it depends on the actor.
Yeah, I do think that Jim Carrey has great range. Like the number 23, Eternal Sunshine and Spotless Mind. Sonic the
number
Hedgehog.
23 got slept on. The number 23 got slept on.
Yeah, I agree. It's a good one. And then you've got things like your Ace Venturas and your The Masks, which is the other end of that spectrum. Yeah.
And then we got Truman Show.
Truman Show is great. It's a great one. I was just talking about another actor that has great range, Nicolas Cage. Like I kind of put them in similar tiers, except Nick Cage will literally take any sort of offer that he's given, which sometimes results in some subpar films.
Yeah, his acting isn't what's in question; it's his discretion.
Yeah,
on what jobs he takes.
Well, the dude spends a lot of money, so he needs all the help he can get.
Yeah, all the work that comes.
Yeah, because sometimes you'll see him in a movie that's essentially a parody biopic about himself, where he's with Pedro Pascal.
Oh, that's a great movie.
And then I
love that movie.
Yeah, then sometimes you'll get him when he's just a mute character in a Five Nights at Freddy's ripoff. So
that was also it was fun. It was fun. It was not very good, but it was fun.
It was. Yeah.
Now, have you seen Dream Scenario? That was like his newest film is the A24 thing where he's appearing in other people's dreams. It's very good. Yeah, it's kind of like Kaufman-esque though, like Charlie Kaufman, not Andy Kaufman. We're just a different Kaufman. But it's quite good. Good range.
The range that surprised me was Robin Williams. The what he evolved into later on in his acting career. Did you guys see 1 Hour Photo?
Oh yeah, 1 Hour Photo.
No.
1 Hour Photo. Nolan, Robin Williams, and Al Pacino going blow for blow in a knockdown drag out brawl. Great scene. Yeah, he was unhinged in that movie. Go check it out. 1 Hour Photo.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I really liked. Growing up, I haven't seen it in so long, but Bicentennial Man, I remember being a really good drama.
Moving.
Yeah. I remember just people saying that it was like kind of a weak film, but from what I've seen, he actually does a pretty fucking good job.
Well, yeah, he did a really good job. And what made those comments come from the critics was the other movie that came out right around the same time was AI. And that was that one with Jude Law, Haley Joel Osment, and it was like the I Want to Be a Real Boy Pinocchio story of the little AI kid.
Right.
And that was what was his name? Oh my God. 2001: A Space Odyssey. Help me.
Steven Spielberg?
Oh, well, no, it was Steven Spielberg and oh my God, Full Metal Jacket.
Stanley Kubrick.
Sorry, yeah, totally.
So Stanley Kubrick died during the production of that movie. So if you watch the movie, the first half is really dark Stanley Kubrick, and then all of a sudden it shifts into magical fantasy land, and that's when Steven Spielberg took over. But yeah, those two movies came out right around the same time, and they sort of had the same kind of archetypal character protagonist. And Robin Williams just kind of got Bicentennial Man just kind of got swept under the rug. But that was an amazing movie.
Yeah. Flubber, come on. It's a great movie.
Yeah. Or in Good Will Hunting.
Goodwill, Dead Poets.
Yeah. I was about to say Aladdin. I was like, nope, no, not Aladdin.
To be fair, nobody can play Genie like Robin Williams. The man was
his performance was great. Role. Yeah, the movie doesn't hold up. I'll just say that doesn't stand the test of time.
Yeah,
sadly.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I'm about to show my age. In Aladdin, I am not only old enough to have seen that in the theater, I saw that in a drive-in theater.
Nice. I've been to a drive-in too, but it was kind of like a novelty thing, and not like, it's actually a drive-in, because drive-ins are popular.
Yeah, drive-in theater, double feature Aladdin and Dennis the Menace.
Ooh, okay, interesting back to back. That's It's cool.
That was fun. Oh, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yep.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I kind of put Robin Williams in like a similar category as like Tom Hanks. I feel like they're like kind of give me like grandfathery vibes, or like older, wise paternal vibes, I guess.
Yeah, and grew into it, and you got to watch him grow into it from Mork and for Robin Williams, it was going from Mork and Mindy to the stuff that we're talking about.
Yeah,
and for Tom Hanks, it was what was Bosom Buddies? Was that his sitcom? He had a sitcom in the '80s, and then he was doing. Like,
I'm not sure that's a sitcom, but I'm certain that's something.
Yeah.
I know that Tom Hanks was in like a D&D movie that was like made during the Satanic Panic, like not like a Dungeons and Dragons movie, but like saying like, playing Dungeons and Dragons is satanic. And
like the Reefer Madness of D&D.
Yeah, like a Reefer Madness,
sick.
but for Dungeons and Dragons.
That sounds awesome.
Like Tom Hanks plays Dungeons and Dragons. It gets so obsessed that he believes Dungeons and Dragons is the real world and everything.
Yeah, it's like Jumanji is like, but like a documentary.
Back to Robin Williams.
Oh God, I gotta find that now so we can watch it.
Yeah, I'm interested in that because it's ringing a bell, and I know that I've heard of it, but I had never actually seen it, and I'm really interested in what this is.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Oh God, if anybody knows what I'm talking about, please, dear God, send us an email for it.
Yeah. Speaking of emails, let's get to listener mail, because we got some good ones this week.
Yeah, but first I'll just say, Billith, thanks for telling us the lies. We're gonna drop that on our socials, hopefully this time. So leave us a comment, tell us what you think, and we'll find out the answer next week when we have Storm Breath on.
Sick.
Very nice.
All right, listener mail. The first one. SCP Weekly. Screw you guys, no more email. With love, your fan, Fern.
Oh.
Thanks for the haiku, Fern.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it is.
I didn't even know that was a haiku.
I don't think Fern even knew that was a haiku
when we got it.
Huh.
God, imagine that it was just an accidental haiku.
I think it is.
That's beautiful. That's in an effort. I don't want to be reductive here, but it is very poetic.
It really is.
So thanks for that, Feichel. Loved the last episode. Hope y'all keep having fun. Question: favorite band you've discovered recently? I'm getting bored of my humdrum music, not including Has-Been Hotel because good god, deity, demon. Danka, Phyrexian Hollow. I wouldn't say a band specifically, but no, it's fine. Like one project I am following, and I've told at least Kelsey about this. Billith, I don't know if I've told you. Called Epic the Musical. Essentially, this guy's project to making Homer's The Odyssey into a full-on musical split across like 9 different albums.
That's quite the undertaking.
Yeah, he recently, back on Christmas Day, actually, he released a 3rd album after a year of waiting, called The Storm Saga, which essentially is after Odysseus and his men, face the Cyclops, and essentially, they got caught in a storm. They find the floating city, well, not the floating city, a floating island. That's the home of the wind god Aeolus, where Odysseus gets the bag of storms, the bag of winds, and his men, because apparently all of his men are assholes that don't know how to follow orders, open the bag whenever he falls asleep, and just as when they were getting close to getting back home to Ithaca, like it was right on the horizon, they opened it up and it blew them fucking far away from it. And then ending with a standoff against Poseidon, because turns out the Cyclops that Odysseus blinded and, you know, in his arrogance told him his real name to, was a son of Poseidon. And his dad is a little bit pissed that these guys blinded his kid.
I have a standoff against Poseidon like half of every time I go to the bathroom.
Yeah. And he's actually...
I was going to ask, how many albums are they through this whole thing? You said it's like set across 9. Have they completed it, or?
No, 9 is the planned amount. He released the first two last year, the Troy Saga and the Cyclops Saga. There was a year break in between because he was dealing with some things. He released the third album, the Storm Saga, on Christmas Day, and he's actually releasing the fourth album, the Circe Saga, on Valentine's Day, actually.
That's a incredibly cultured answer compared to I was going to talk about how I learned of an artist that does it's like SpongeBob characters doing hip hop, but it's like someone wrote the songs. It's like really talented, and then got like AI generated voices for all the people in SpongeBob to do to rap, and it's like surprisingly like you could tell the person that did it is already a pretty well established musician, and they're like doing their name is Glorb, Glorb.
Glorb.
Yeah, highly recommend it. It's interesting. It's like I said, you can tell the artist very talented, that writes all the songs, writes all the lyrics, etc. And the voices are their voices. They're great. Definitely interesting to hear about undertaking to turn an entire epic into a musical. I feel like that's got to be in a long. It'll be another couple years before that's done, I think.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, the rate he's going, we might get the 6th album at least before the year's end. So I don't know, but he posts development of the different songs that he writes on his TikTok of, just more of the drafts of how they're going to sound. One specifically that I'm really excited for when he finally, brings it in for the final, the finished product in one of the future albums is the song Monster, which he says is sort of a closing act number of Odysseus at this point having gone through immense suffering and loss throughout his journey so far, is coming to terms with the idea of, whether honoring his now dead best friend's ideology of, trying to keep optimistic. The world can be rough, but there is still good in it. Or is it that he can allow himself to become ruthless and essentially turn from a man into a monster if it means that he and his surviving men are able to make it home alive?
Very cool. Very cool. I like the attention to manifesting the the various narrative beats as part of the songs and the sound. As someone who is very much into soundtracks and soundscapes and the way audio can be used diegetically to create emotion and things like that, it's very cool to hear about people doing stuff like that. Very neat.
Yeah, and he's got some fucking top tier villain songs that he has in his albums too. Specifically for anyone listening and is interested in this, look up the song Ruthlessness from the Ocean Saga album. That's Poseidon mostly singing it. But I can't remember who the guy is that they had singing as Poseidon, but he does a fucking phenomenal job of like giving just the most over-the-top villain song for Poseidon as he's essentially fucking drowning most of Odysseus' fleet in this scene, and you can tell that they're all having so much fun doing it.
The genre, does it tend to stay like pretty much the same, like that typical musical fare, or does it kind of explore some other like, is it like
it kind of like ebbs and flows between genres with the style the song kind of goes in.
That's cool.
See, I'm the most boring person to ask that question to, because like every time I find something new that I think is new and I'm really getting into it, it turns out to be like 10 years old. So I'm just now getting into like Joywave, Big Data, and then Brandy Carlisle's early stuff.
Okay. I mean, I guess it's new can be interpreted as new to you, right? I mean,
yeah.
I like to think that the person asking that question would be okay with learning about an artist that isn't new, that they hadn't heard of before, if it's if it's good.
Yeah, for me, it's like I don't really give a shit how old the music is. If someone really says like, gets my interest in saying like this music is really good, chances are I'm probably just gonna, go into it.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna put ruthlessness on. That's a hard word to say. I'm definitely gonna put ruthlessness on whenever we're done here.
Yeah. I'll have to show that to you guys after this. But and our last email, Kelsey.
Thanks. I just want to say thank you for Rexian Hollow. That was a really good question. Thanks for the email. Last one. That last one was a joke. Fern.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe you.
Don't believe you until you start signing your emails with your real name, Feichel.
Ooh, yeah, Ficus.
Some fighting words there.
Yeah.
And that's all we have for this week. Thank you all so much for joining us. Remember, patrons like Arsfel and Oni Mask Productions get more content at patreon.com/scpweekly. Such a shill. It's totally worth $2, and your support helps keep the lights on. Intro and outro music was Space Age Girl Machine by Conditional. Thanks to Billith for lying to us. Thanks to our sponsor, Dado's Space Drive 2. SCP Weekly is distributed by Smooth Cadence Productions. SCP Weekly is not affiliated with the SCP Foundation Wiki, and as such, the opinions presented in this program are our own and do not necessarily reflect those of the Wiki or its staff.
Yeah, music provided by Epidemic Sound. And thank you all for joining us. You have a wonderful week, and take care.
Content relating to the SCP Foundation, including the SCP Foundation logo, is licensed under Creative Commons Sharealike 3.0, and all concepts originate from the SCP Wiki and its authors. This recording, being derived from this content, is also released under CC by SA 3.0. Until next time, I'm Kelsey.
I'm Nolan. The K is silent.
Cassie's on vacation.
Yeah, it's not the same without her. But this, unfortunately, has been SCP Weekly.
Given the opportunity, right now, are there any of your works that you would like to spoil? Are there any of your works that you would like to give away the voodoo?
Give away the voodoo. I just sent Nolan. I sent you a Glorb song. But anyway, I'm under blood contract to not spoil anything related to admonition, and that's like a lot of where my mental capacity goes to currently. So I can't talk about any of those. I can say that there's more to come, and it's probably going to happen sooner than you think. I can say that
Maybe
right now,
an 8K con entry.
yeah, I was going to say right now I'm working on 8K con, and I will say that my team and I are planning on we're pulling out all the stops. We'll say that. I wish I could tell you the exact thing we're doing, but I will just say that it's a lot of fun, and we have some big name authors, and we're excited, very excited to show you what we did. And when I say that it's been taking up a lot of my time and energy, you will understand when you see it why that is the case.
Is it one of those articles that is going to make you wish you don't do something like you did with Sherm last year or with the 7K con?
I didn't, I will happily try that again. It was an undertaking, certainly, but I think that this, I think that it's not going to be as long as some of the other ones, but it will probably be longer than your average one, sure. It's not going to be like The Loser, which was like 20K, or it's not going to be like what's the Mangaka in the High Castle from 7K con. It was like 25,000 words. That one was hard. That took us like 3 hours to do. Yeah, no, because we had to like describe the pictures too, and like show off all the pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because it had like full art anime, and like it was quite the a lot of effort, you can tell. No, but we wanted this to be a fast paced experience that is more of like more interesting and not too complicated, like complicated in the right ways, we'll say. Yeah. It's not going to be existential abatement, but a lot of the people that worked on existential abatement are working on this. So,
Oh, how do you feel about the 8K con prompt being fantasy?
oh, okay.
Is there something else that you rather would have seen, or is fantasy just all right with you?
Fantasy is okay. I mean, I know some people really don't like it, and some people really like it. I kind of find that it's probably the broadest theme I've ever seen for a KCon. Like, even horror is less broad than fantasy, because I feel like everything on the site is fantasy to a degree. Like, it depends on, I guess, how you qualify fantasy, but like the fact that all of this stuff is like, monsters and things, that's pretty fantastical on its own.
Yeah.
I think that I'm interested in seeing how it's used to mean other things, because there's cool like alternate meanings of fantasy that can be explored. I think it's the most maybe not safe for work friendly of the themes, because fantasy can mean a lot of stuff. But it's certainly less restrictive than luck, and I feel like it's kind of an overcorrection from luck. Maybe like luck was too narrow, and now they're doing like when it's a little bit too broad. There's got to be a happy medium somewhere in there.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually. We'll get there.
I like nature. Nature is a cool theme. That was 6,000, I think, right?
Was it 6 or 5?
5,000 was 5. 6,000 was history.
6 was mystery.
Mystery. Sorry, not history. Mystery. Yeah. Okay. That's right. And 3,000 was horror. That's like when my first article was the 3K con entry. I would have said that was the broadest theme, but like you don't have to be a horror author to write on the site, obviously. Whereas fantasy, like I said, I think fantasy touches a lot more.
Yeah.
Of what the wiki produces, but I always say like the difference between like sci-fi fantasy and sci-fi is that sci-fi fantasy doesn't really explain the mechanics behind their technology. It's more like it's the Star Wars versus the Blade Runner, where it's like Star Wars is all like magic technology almost.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
definitely
Wars
interested
versus
in
Star
seeing.
Trek.
Yeah, interested in seeing where it goes for sure. I have a feeling we're going to get the most entries we've ever gotten. Whereas, it's like last contest, it was 144 or so entries. Some of them got deleted, but that means that like by the time everything got slotted, 1.4 out of every 10 slots were already filled. So it's kind of interesting to see how quickly those things will like fill up. I think it was a little bit over a year between this and the last series contest. So
it seems like we've had an explosion of new authors. I think right before 7K Con.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like since just before 7K Con, between then and now, that we've had an explosion of new authors.
Yeah, and I've heard some people say that like they think that the SCP still has yet to peak, and I can very much see that being a thing.
Yeah.
Just recently, I mean, I heard a couple like Markiplier mentioned it in a video recently, and like Markiplier's big on SCP. Like I know he reads the site and stuff, but like he like brought it up in one of the games he was playing. So it's like it's still people are still hearing it frequently. I know that like Meat Canyon just dropped a video with SCP, like just talking about an SCP article, and like he's a really big YouTuber. Yeah.
Is it not just is it just Meat Canyon himself, or is that like the podcast?
It's on his a second channel, but it's on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's peak on the outside as far as awareness and popularity, but also peak on the inside as far as the site news this month. The Spotlight article was was it Stone? Oh, I gotta go back and look at now. Stone and
right now it's 7804 Black Mountain Transmitter. It could have just changed though,
Rock and Stone, SCP-7186, Rock and Stone. It was the top. It's the top article of the month.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
JVG's first article, where they establish a Department of Geology within the Foundation. As long as SCP has been a thing, it's taken until 2023 for there to be a Department of Geology. So the foundation within the foundation is still expanding, and I think that part of it has yet to peak as well.
Yeah, and I like how the name is a Deep Rock Galactic reference. I'm pretty sure. You said it was Rock and Stone, right?
Yep.
Yep. That's definitely a reference to the dwarf mining game Deep Rock Galactic. And no wonder I'm not the top of this month. I was wondering why that one was beating my article by 30 points right now.
Because they got the front page news.
Oh yeah, no, that makes sense.
Guys, I'm actually gonna have to head off.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I gotta get up at 6:30 Eastern time.
Well, it's good talking to you.
Works
Thanks
calls.
for
You too.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, anytime.
Oh yeah. Cool.
All right. Have a good night.
All right, you too.
Yeah,
Take it
take
easy,
care.
guys.
All right. See ya.
Space age girl machine. Space age girl machine. Space age girl machine. Girl machine.
Well,
Yeah, I just found that. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna
I was gonna say I just found that. I was gonna say I just found that meat canning video.
Yeah.
You mentioned like you only posted it.
Yeah,
today,
no, it's today. It's getting good traction too. It's a good article, but and like the way he describes it and he like animates part of it too. It's it's a unique style of like, you know, breaking down an SCP article. I haven't seen anything like quite like that before, where it's like he's switching back and forth between his very unique style of art and you know, just live action and this and that. But like it's also the SCP that he chose is one off from one of mine. I was like, damn. That's cool.
Nolan, you'll like this. I guess this is the announcement. SCP Unredacted, I'm pivoting hard into Tales.
Yeah.
And I've been, for the last couple of weeks, trying to find the next series that I'm going to do, and I have landed on it. And I'll be doing Yggdrasil's Surveyor.
Ooh. Very cool. My favorite series is still
Are you gonna
Competitive Eschatology. It's where all the ends of the world happen at the same time.
I think I dipped into that.
I remember.
It's related to QNTM's proposal, the lock.
Yeah, Quantum's
Quantum, right?
Lock proposal. But the question is, Kelsey, are you gonna hire me on for that?
They're Tales.
I mean, Tales can have multiple characters, so
I have no interest in dramatizing.
Fair.
That's why I'm pivoting into Tales, because Tales I just sit and read.
Yeah,
I just sit and read the Tales.
I'm actually voicing Mr. Red in the Cool Wars audio drama. That
you're in that?
Yeah, Sean Saxon is putting together.
Hell yeah! I got Nobody.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we both. I remember auditioning for Nobody as well, but I auditioned for a couple of characters, and I mean, Mr. Red, I was kind of like iffy on doing because I was like, that's a complicated character to voice, but
yeah,
Sean really likes what we put together, and I'm excited for it. Although it is, it's definitely a different monster than just reading Tales. That's for sure.
When he reached out to me, because I had never read it, and I kind of skimmed it, and I was like, okay, this is going to be easy. And then I actually got to that chapter, and I was like, this is not easy. This is not easy at all.
Yeah. Have you ever read the tale? Yes.
I don't think so.
Yeah. It's just one long monologue by Mr. Red, and I'll send this to you. Like, just like how unhinged this is, just to give you an idea.
What the fuck?
Yeah. When I agreed to do Red, and I like did some lines that he told me to do from another one, and then he gave me this one to do, and I was like, oh, this is completely different. This is a different monster. Yeah.
Oh wow. You did this for the Cool War?
Yeah, I've recorded the first third of it, I think. We were trying to get, like, I wanted to make sure that I had the voices down right, because, like, there are, like, maybe 4 or 5 different voices that he does, and, like, there are different, like, levels of enthusiasm, and you kind of see, like, some of the, like, are in all lowercase with no punctuation, some are in all caps, some are bolded, and it's, like, it's wild.
How many different hymns are talking to himself in this? You said like 5?
Yeah, I think we singled out like 5. I had I have a document that I copied this in and I basically color coded it and I like sent it to Sean. I was like, does this look right to you? He's like, yeah. It's just like, it's so fast paced and like, if you mess up, it's like, I just feel like I have to do it in a single take. That's the only thing is like, it is an undertaking. That's for sure.
And I'm the one talking in all caps now, motherfucker. Wow. Oof. Bless your heart.
Yeah.
Shit, how did we get down here? Damn, how long have you been in this bit? This is... Who wrote this?
Who wrote this indeed? Let me see.
Randomini?
Randomini. Oh, okay. Randomini wrote 2719. Okay.